Good morning, boys and girls. Here I'm going to show you how to get started with painting. You would paint if you have your whole design correctly drawn and repeated on each 12 of your wedges, or all 12 of your wedges. And if you would like, you can outline in black. Sometimes that's really nice rather than painting an outline in black, being able to see your designs a bit clearer. You don't have to though, I did. So I will leave that up to you. What you would need to start painting is your project, of course. A paintbrush from the back counter. Each table is going to get 1 cup of red, blue, and yellow paints. Now these are for you to pull from, but you would need a clean brush to pull your paints from these cups because these colors should remain pure. So in order to keep your brush clean-ish, you're gonna wanna have a cup of water for you and maybe a couple people nearby, and a paper towel. Your palette, where your paints are going to go, are these magazines. Now, it's pretty cool. You can use a magazine as a palette, and when you're done with your palette, you just tear the top page off, and you put the magazine palettes back into our magazine pile, which are located next to the brushes and all of our bulk paints. All right, so let's get started. We're going to begin only with the primaries, so no mixing colors. That keeps it pretty easy to begin with, and you can focus on your brushwork skills. What you're going to want to think about is only using the very tip of your brush to apply the paint. If you push too hard with your brush while you're applying the paint, you're going to notice the bristles bend, and all of a sudden your brush strokes will get really wide and thick and a little bit wild. So try to put just a little gentle pressure onto your brush while you're painting so that the bristles barely bend. All right, so if you're ready to paint, you're going to want to decide what primary color to start with first. Make sure you have maybe written a little reminder of what colors go where on your color wheel. I've done so in pencil. That will eventually get covered up with paint and we won't see it. That keeps it easy for me. Okay, so I notice I've placed the yellow right here in this wedge, and yellow-orange comes next, so on and so forth. So no surprises. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yellow and I'm just going to scoop some onto my palette. And I've got a good amount to work with here. And I'm going to work on pulling the paint, keeping it inside the lines as best as I can. If I make a mistake, no fear. Our mistakes can be painted over, and that's how we can fix them. Now, in the rubric, it says that there is an opportunity to hit mastery level with your painting skills. In the yellow section, if I want to think about adding mastery right away, I could make different types of yellows in the yellow section and do that for all the other colors too. For instance, the only way I can really make different kinds of yellows is if I add white or black to that yellow, making it lighter or darker. So if you want white, come up to my table, kind of where we had our X-Acto stations. The white will be over there for you, and you can lighten up that white. Now notice I'm not mixing it all together. I might want to use some more yellow just for some plain yellow, or white later for another color. So I'm not going to make it really impure. So maybe I'll have like a light yellow coming alongside that dark yellow, and my painting is a little bit going over the lines. I'm doing this through a cell phone, not easy. Okay, so I might make an even lighter tint of yellow.
Mr. Jaworski to the front office. Mr. Jaworski to the front office. Thank you.
Interrupted. Okay. So if you add different types of a color into a wedge, maybe the background's a really light tint of yellow, and maybe the shapes on the inside here are pure yellow, and I could even try making shades of yellow. My only warning with making shades is that your colors will get really, really dark quite fast because the black paint is very powerful. All right, it's got a lot of bang for the buck. So if I am going to give you black paint, it's just going to be a little teeny weeny bit to keep you from adding too much. So I'm just going to take a speck, and you're going to notice how quickly that yellow starts to get really dark. All right. Now, I personally don't think shades look really pretty with some of our colors. The yellow turns almost like a murky green. Let's put it right next to this pure yellow so you can see. It starts to get a little murky, a little grayed out. But if you add different types of yellow into your wedge here, you're going to be able to show me that you can kind of hit that mastery level with your paint mixing skills. Again, look at that. Totally over the lines. Bad Miss Valley. Try to stay inside the lines the best you can. A smaller brush is going to do that for you. When you are changing colors, just mop the bottom of that cup that you have in front of you with your brush. If the water starts getting really, really mucky, dump it out and get some fresh water. But I'm just sweeping the bottom of that cup with my brush, and that'll really help clean it quickly. I'm going to pat it dry on my paper towel here and get all that mucky extra color out of there. Oh, we got some yucky color next to the base here. And just get as much out as you can. And then you could pick another color. Scoop out some blue, put it on your palette. But really, this one palette should last you the whole class period. Cleanup looks like this. Okay? Rinse your brush off in your cup. If there still is a lot of mucky, murky paint, I'm going to ask that you rinse out your brush in the sink. The brushes, I am going to have you wash, and if you want, dry them. That's an extra nice thing to do to keep the brushes clean. And you're going to return them up to my table where we did the X-Acto cutting. So we're going to check those brushes before I allow you to return them. So I got to see that they're clean. As far as paints go, just push the lids down, make sure they click shut. Water cup, dump it. If it looks like there's some paint at the bottom, give it a rinse. Put it back with our other cups. Again, just take your palette. Oh, can I do this with one hand? Woo! Bingo. Take your palette, tear it off, toss it in the garbage, return the rest of it back to our pile. And if you do have any muck on your tables, we will take time to wipe that off today. Alrighty, your projects, they're going to be wet with paint. They're going to need to go on the drying rack, right? So we are going to have full drying racks with these projects. I will probably tell your class which drying rack you're going to use so we can keep our classes separate, because we're going to have a whole bunch of these, so stay tuned for that. If you do have any questions, please let me know. Again, brushes are going to be up with me. Black and white paint are going to be up with me. Yellow, blue, red paint can stay at your tables. Palettes are going to be on the back counter. Woo, that's a lot. Good luck.